Trump's Greenland takeover bid has ignited an unprecedented military saga in transatlantic ties. NATO is deploying NATO forces to fight a NATO ally's threats. Yes, you heard that right. While words have been very strong,
what is clear is that Greenland can count on us politically, economically and financially. And when it comes to its security, the discussions on Arctic security are first and foremost a core issue of NATO.
It is perfectly clear that the fate of Greenland will be decided by the Greenlanders and the Kingdom of Denmark, to whose territory Greenland belongs.
Therefore, these intimidations must stop, and Denmark can count on the solidarity of European countries, as reiterated by their heads of state and government in a joint statement just yesterday.
Actions on ground are far from what can help Greenland and Denmark even put up a fight on the field. The reported numbers of men and machines deployed in Operation Arctic Endurance by allies will make you chuckle. Let's look at the Grand Army Europe has assembled to stop the American superpower. The total headcount from non-Danish allies, barely 35 men. You heard that right. France has sent just 15 mountain troops. Germany contributed 13 scouts. Sweden sent 3 officers, and the United Kingdom, they deployed exactly 1 man. Against the might of the US Marines, this isn't a defense force, it's a dinner party. The hardware situation is equally thin. To defend the world's largest island, Denmark has scrambled just 4 aging F-16 fighter jets, not even their new F-35s. They are patrolling millions of square kilometers, supported by a single French tanker and 2 patrol ships armed with light guns. If a US carrier strike group decides to move north, these defenses won't just be outgunned, they will be invisible. So what is the real strategy here? Military experts call it a tripwire. These 35 soldiers aren't there to fight. They are essentially diplomatic human shields. The calculation is simple. If Trump orders the US Navy to move in, they would have to physically run over a French soldier or a German scout first. It is an attempt to force a political crisis, not a military victory. But let's be real. Operation Arctic Endurance is a diplomatic bluff wrapped in camouflage. Europe knows it cannot physically stop Washington. They are betting that the image of a British officer standing next to a Danish flag is enough to make the White House blink. But with a president who has already threatened to leave NATO, using NATO troops to block him might be a very dangerous bet. And that bet becomes even riskier when you realize these soldiers aren't just standing guard. They are operating under a specific mandatory instruction. While their numbers are small, their orders are absolute. As we reported yesterday, Copenhagen has removed the political safety catch, confirming that if these troops are fired upon, they are legally bound to shoot back. The Greenland crisis has crossed a dangerous military threshold. Denmark has now confirmed that its forces are legally bound to fire back if Greenland is attacked, even if the attacker is the United States. The order is not political, it is automatic, rooted in law, and leaves no room for delay once Danish territory comes under armed threat.
Danish military units have a duty to defend Danish territory if it is subjected to an armed attack, including by taking immediate defensive action if required. The decree ensures that Danish forces can act to defend the Danish kingdom in situations where Danish territory or Danish military units are attacked, even if circumstances make it impossible to await further political or military instruction.
That legal trigger is now colliding with open threats from Washington. US President Donald Trump has repeatedly refused to rule out force, mocking Denmark's ability to defend Greenland and insisting the island is vital to American national security. Trump argues that Copenhagen cannot stop Russia or China, and that only the United States can.
So what are the options?
Your network doesn't know either.
The Danish foreign minister said that there's still fundamental differences after the meeting with Rubio and with the vice president. Are you willing to leave the NATO alliance in order to get what you want with Greenland? What are the options right now?
Well, I wouldn't be telling you what I'm willing to do, certainly. I'm not going to give up options, but it's very important. Greenland's very important for the national security, including of Denmark. And the problem is not a thing that Denmark can do about it if Russia or China wants to occupy Greenland. But there's everything we can do. You found that out last week with Venezuela. There's everything we can do about things such as that. Not going to happen. We're not, I can't rely on Denmark being able to fend themselves off. They were talking about they put an extra dog, and they were serious about this. They put an extra dog sled there last month. They added a second dog sled. That's not going to do the trick.
After emergency talks in Washington with Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Denmark and Greenland went public with their position. The meeting was described as frank, respectful, and unresolved. Copenhagen confirmed that Washington's ambitions collide directly with Denmark's sovereignty and Greenland's right to decide its own future.
Ideas that would not respect territorial integrity of the Kingdom of Denmark and the right of self-determination of the Greenlandic people are, of course, totally unacceptable. And we therefore still have a fundamental disagreement, but we also agree to disagree. And therefore we will, however, continue to talk.
As diplomacy strains, Europe is moving forces into position. Denmark has announced an expanded military presence in and around Greenland, backed by NATO allies. Sweden, Norway, Germany, and France are deploying personnel. Reconnaissance teams, ships, aircraft, and Arctic-capable units. France is opening a consulate in Greenland, a rare and deliberate sovereignty signal. The stakes extend far beyond the Arctic. Greenland is covered under NATO's Article 5. Any armed attack on Danish territory is legally considered an attack on the entire alliance. A US military move would place NATO in an unprecedented crisis, forcing allies to confront the possibility of conflict triggered from within the alliance itself.